Práctica diaria de inglés. Escucha, habla y mejora tus habilidades. Comienza a practicar.
I wake up early to start my day. I wake up early to start my day.
Me despierto temprano para empezar el día.
I wake up early to start my day. I wake up early to start my day. I check my calendar for meetings. I check my calendar for meetings.
Reviso mi calendario para ver las reuniones.
I check my calendar for meetings. I check my calendar for meetings. I drink a cup of coffee. I drink a cup of coffee.
Tomo una taza de café.
I drink a cup of coffee. I drink a cup of coffee. I open my laptop. I open my laptop.
Abro mi portátil.
I open my laptop. I open my laptop. I read emails from my team. I read emails from my team.
Leo correos electrónicos de mi equipo.
I read emails from my team. I read emails from my team. I reply to important messages. I reply to important messages.
Respondo a los mensajes importantes.
I reply to important messages. I reply to important messages. I review my to-do list. I review my to-do list.
Reviso mi lista de tareas.
I review my to-do list. I review my to-do list. I join the daily stand-up meeting. I join the daily stand-up meeting.
Participo en la reunión diaria de seguimiento.
I join the daily stand-up meeting. I join the daily stand-up meeting. I talk with developers and designers. I talk with developers and designers.
Hablo con desarrolladores y diseñadores.
I talk with developers and designers. I talk with developers and designers. I take notes during the meeting. I take notes during the meeting.
Tomo notas durante la reunión.
I take notes during the meeting. I take notes during the meeting. I open the design software. I open the design software.
Abro el software de diseño.
I open the design software. I open the design software. I start working on a new design. I start working on a new design.
Empiezo a trabajar en un nuevo diseño.
I start working on a new design. I start working on a new design. I sketch ideas on my tablet. I sketch ideas on my tablet.
Hago bocetos de ideas en mi tableta.
I sketch ideas on my tablet. I sketch ideas on my tablet. I think about user needs. I think about user needs.
Pienso en las necesidades de los usuarios.
I think about user needs. I think about user needs. I create wireframes for the new page. I create wireframes for the new page.
Creo wireframes para la nueva página.
I create wireframes for the new page. I create wireframes for the new page. I focus on the layout and structure. I focus on the layout and structure.
Me centro en la estructura y el diseño.
I focus on the layout and structure. I focus on the layout and structure. I choose the right colors and fonts. I choose the right colors and fonts.
Elijo los colores y las tipografías adecuadas.
I choose the right colors and fonts. I choose the right colors and fonts. I keep the design clean and simple. I keep the design clean and simple.
Mantengo el diseño limpio y sencillo.
I keep the design clean and simple. I keep the design clean and simple. I make sure the buttons are easy to find. I make sure the buttons are easy to find.
Me aseguro de que los botones sean fáciles de encontrar.
I make sure the buttons are easy to find. I make sure the buttons are easy to find. I check the design on different screens. I check the design on different screens.
Reviso el diseño en diferentes pantallas.
I check the design on different screens. I check the design on different screens. I test the design on my phone. I test the design on my phone.
Pruebo el diseño en mi móvil.
I test the design on my phone. I test the design on my phone. I look at user feedback. I look at user feedback.
Reviso los comentarios de los usuarios.
I look at user feedback. I look at user feedback. I fix the problems users had. I fix the problems users had.
Corrijo los problemas que tuvieron los usuarios.
I fix the problems users had. I fix the problems users had. I update the design based on feedback. I update the design based on feedback.
Actualizo el diseño según los comentarios.
I update the design based on feedback. I update the design based on feedback. I save my work in the shared folder. I save my work in the shared folder.
Guardo mi trabajo en la carpeta compartida.
I save my work in the shared folder. I save my work in the shared folder. I send the design to the product manager. I send the design to the product manager.
Envío el diseño al responsable de producto.
I send the design to the product manager. I send the design to the product manager. I explain my design choices. I explain my design choices.
Explico mis decisiones de diseño.
I explain my design choices. I explain my design choices. I listen to feedback from the team. I listen to feedback from the team.
Escucho los comentarios del equipo.
I listen to feedback from the team. I listen to feedback from the team. I make changes to improve the design. I make changes to improve the design.
Hago cambios para mejorar el diseño.
I make changes to improve the design. I make changes to improve the design. I test the new version again. I test the new version again.
Vuelvo a probar la nueva versión.
I test the new version again. I test the new version again. I check the user flow. I check the user flow.
Reviso el flujo de usuario.
I check the user flow. I check the user flow. I make sure the process is smooth. I make sure the process is smooth.
Me aseguro de que el proceso sea fluido.
I make sure the process is smooth. I make sure the process is smooth. I focus on the user journey. I focus on the user journey.
Me centro en el recorrido del usuario.
I focus on the user journey. I focus on the user journey. I think about how people will use the app. I think about how people will use the app.
Pienso en cómo la gente usará la aplicación.
I think about how people will use the app. I think about how people will use the app. I check the accessibility of the design. I check the accessibility of the design.
Reviso la accesibilidad del diseño.
I check the accessibility of the design. I check the accessibility of the design. I use contrast for better readability. I use contrast for better readability.
Uso contraste para mejorar la legibilidad.
I use contrast for better readability. I use contrast for better readability. I write clear labels for buttons. I write clear labels for buttons.
Escribo etiquetas claras para los botones.
I write clear labels for buttons. I write clear labels for buttons. I avoid too much text. I avoid too much text.
Evito demasiado texto.
I avoid too much text. I avoid too much text. I use simple icons. I use simple icons.
Uso iconos simples.
I use simple icons. I use simple icons. I create a prototype. I create a prototype.
Creo un prototipo.
I create a prototype. I create a prototype. I share the prototype with testers. I share the prototype with testers.
Comparto el prototipo con los testers.
I share the prototype with testers. I share the prototype with testers. I watch how users interact with it. I watch how users interact with it.
Observo cómo interactúan los usuarios con él.
I watch how users interact with it. I watch how users interact with it. I take notes on what works and what doesn't. I take notes on what works and what doesn't.
Tomo notas sobre lo que funciona y lo que no.
I take notes on what works and what doesn't. I take notes on what works and what doesn't. I talk to a researcher about user interviews. I talk to a researcher about user interviews.
Hablo con un investigador sobre entrevistas a usuarios.
I talk to a researcher about user interviews. I talk to a researcher about user interviews. I join a usability testing session. I join a usability testing session.
Participo en una sesión de pruebas de usabilidad.
I join a usability testing session. I join a usability testing session. I observe how users use the product. I observe how users use the product.
Observo cómo usan los usuarios el producto.
I observe how users use the product. I observe how users use the product. I learn what users like and dislike. I learn what users like and dislike.
Aprendo lo que les gusta y lo que no.
I learn what users like and dislike. I learn what users like and dislike. I gather data from the session. I gather data from the session.
Recojo datos de la sesión.
I gather data from the session. I gather data from the session. I analyze the results with the team. I analyze the results with the team.
Analizo los resultados con el equipo.
I analyze the results with the team. I analyze the results with the team. I brainstorm ideas for improvement. I brainstorm ideas for improvement.
Hacemos una lluvia de ideas para mejorar.
I brainstorm ideas for improvement. I brainstorm ideas for improvement. I draw new sketches on paper. I draw new sketches on paper.
Hago nuevos bocetos en papel.
I draw new sketches on paper. I draw new sketches on paper. I discuss ideas with another designer. I discuss ideas with another designer.
Comento ideas con otro diseñador.
I discuss ideas with another designer. I discuss ideas with another designer. I compare different design options. I compare different design options.
Comparo diferentes opciones de diseño.
I compare different design options. I compare different design options. I try to find the best solution. I try to find the best solution.
Intento encontrar la mejor solución.
I try to find the best solution. I try to find the best solution. I keep the user in mind. I keep the user in mind.
Tengo al usuario en mente.
I keep the user in mind. I keep the user in mind. I think about how to reduce steps. I think about how to reduce steps.
Pienso en cómo reducir pasos.
I think about how to reduce steps. I think about how to reduce steps. I simplify the navigation. I simplify the navigation.
Simplifico la navegación.
I simplify the navigation. I simplify the navigation. I work with developers to implement the design. I work with developers to implement the design.
Trabajo con desarrolladores para implementar el diseño.
I work with developers to implement the design. I work with developers to implement the design. I check if the design looks good in code. I check if the design looks good in code.
Reviso si el diseño se ve bien en el código.
I check if the design looks good in code. I check if the design looks good in code. I fix any design bugs. I fix any design bugs.
Corrijo errores de diseño.
I fix any design bugs. I fix any design bugs. I adjust spacing and alignment. I adjust spacing and alignment.
Ajusto el espaciado y la alineación.
I adjust spacing and alignment. I adjust spacing and alignment. I test the live version. I test the live version.
Pruebo la versión en vivo.
I test the live version. I test the live version. I give feedback to the developer. I give feedback to the developer.
Doy comentarios al desarrollador.
I give feedback to the developer. I give feedback to the developer. I celebrate small wins with the team. I celebrate small wins with the team.
Celebro pequeños logros con el equipo.
I celebrate small wins with the team. I celebrate small wins with the team. I take a short coffee break. I take a short coffee break.
Tomo un breve descanso para el café.
I take a short coffee break. I take a short coffee break. I stretch my legs. I stretch my legs.
Estiro las piernas.
I stretch my legs. I stretch my legs. I read a blog post about UX trends. I read a blog post about UX trends.
Leo un artículo sobre tendencias de UX.
I read a blog post about UX trends. I read a blog post about UX trends. I watch a video on design tips. I watch a video on design tips.
Veo un vídeo con consejos de diseño.
I watch a video on design tips. I watch a video on design tips. I learn a new tool or feature. I learn a new tool or feature.
Aprendo una nueva herramienta o función.
I learn a new tool or feature. I learn a new tool or feature. I attend a design workshop. I attend a design workshop.
Asisto a un taller de diseño.
I attend a design workshop. I attend a design workshop. I talk to my mentor for advice. I talk to my mentor for advice.
Hablo con mi mentor para pedir consejo.
I talk to my mentor for advice. I talk to my mentor for advice. I help a junior designer with their project. I help a junior designer with their project.
Ayudo a un diseñador junior con su proyecto.
I help a junior designer with their project. I help a junior designer with their project. I share my screen during a review. I share my screen during a review.
Comparto mi pantalla durante una revisión.
I share my screen during a review. I share my screen during a review. I explain my design step by step. I explain my design step by step.
Explico mi diseño paso a paso.
I explain my design step by step. I explain my design step by step. I listen to suggestions from teammates. I listen to suggestions from teammates.
Escucho sugerencias de mis compañeros.
I listen to suggestions from teammates. I listen to suggestions from teammates. I try new ideas in my design. I try new ideas in my design.
Pruebo nuevas ideas en mi diseño.
I try new ideas in my design. I try new ideas in my design. I explore different color palettes. I explore different color palettes.
Exploro diferentes paletas de colores.
I explore different color palettes. I explore different color palettes. I refine the typography. I refine the typography.
Refino la tipografía.
I refine the typography. I refine the typography. I check the spacing again. I check the spacing again.
Reviso el espaciado de nuevo.
I check the spacing again. I check the spacing again. I make sure everything aligns well. I make sure everything aligns well.
Me aseguro de que todo esté bien alineado.
I make sure everything aligns well. I make sure everything aligns well. I export the final design. I export the final design.
Exporto el diseño final.
I export the final design. I export the final design. I upload files to the project folder. I upload files to the project folder.
Subo los archivos a la carpeta del proyecto.
I upload files to the project folder. I upload files to the project folder. I write notes for the developer. I write notes for the developer.
Escribo notas para el desarrollador.
I write notes for the developer. I write notes for the developer. I update the project board. I update the project board.
Actualizo el tablero del proyecto.
I update the project board. I update the project board. I mark tasks as complete. I mark tasks as complete.
Marco las tareas como completadas.
I mark tasks as complete. I mark tasks as complete. I prepare for tomorrow's meeting. I prepare for tomorrow's meeting.
Me preparo para la reunión de mañana.
I prepare for tomorrow's meeting. I prepare for tomorrow's meeting. I write down goals for the next day. I write down goals for the next day.
Escribo los objetivos para el día siguiente.
I write down goals for the next day. I write down goals for the next day. I answer a few more emails. I answer a few more emails.
Respondo algunos correos más.
I answer a few more emails. I answer a few more emails. I clean up my workspace. I clean up my workspace.
Ordeno mi espacio de trabajo.
I clean up my workspace. I clean up my workspace. I close my laptop. I close my laptop.
Cierro mi portátil.
I close my laptop. I close my laptop. I go for a walk after work. I go for a walk after work.
Salgo a caminar después del trabajo.
I go for a walk after work. I go for a walk after work. I talk to a friend about my day. I talk to a friend about my day.
Hablo con un amigo sobre mi día.
I talk to a friend about my day. I talk to a friend about my day. I feel proud of my progress. I feel proud of my progress.
Me siento orgulloso de mi progreso.
I feel proud of my progress. I feel proud of my progress. I look forward to tomorrow's tasks. I look forward to tomorrow's tasks.
Espero con ilusión las tareas de mañana.
I look forward to tomorrow's tasks. I look forward to tomorrow's tasks. I enjoy solving design problems. I enjoy solving design problems.
Disfruto resolviendo problemas de diseño.
I enjoy solving design problems. I enjoy solving design problems. I love helping users. I love helping users.
Me encanta ayudar a los usuarios.
I love helping users. I love helping users. I learn something new every day. I learn something new every day.
Aprendo algo nuevo cada día.
I learn something new every day. I learn something new every day. I work with a great team. I work with a great team.
Trabajo con un gran equipo.
I work with a great team. I work with a great team. I care about good design. I care about good design.
Me importa el buen diseño.
I care about good design. I care about good design.
Gracias por ver. Suscríbete a nuestro canal y activa las notificaciones para obtener nuevos vídeos a tiempo y continuar tu viaje de aprendizaje de inglés.